Hey everyone, it's Mark Zimmerman, Renter's Warehouse. I hope you're doing well today. I've got a quick question for you. Do you remember what happened the last time we had a hard freeze? Man, I sure do. I remember burst pipes. I remember flooded houses. We had quite a few of them. Displaced tenants, and worst of all, a lot of expensive repairs for our homeowners and our landlords that we represent, and for us too that own rental properties personally. So, you know, if you're a landlord, I'm telling you, one of the most important things that you can do before cold weather hits is just to make sure that your tenants know how to protect your rental property. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through exactly what you should be doing as a landlord in terms of telling your tenants what to do when freezing temperatures are in the forecast, right? And this isn't just about inconvenience. Not only is it inconvenient when this happened, but it also, by doing this, it will prevent thousands of dollars of damage and it will keep everybody safe and comfortable in that rental property, which is what we want, right? So here's the deal. The good news is that most freezes and most freeze damage actually is completely preventable, and you can do that, prevent this freeze damage just with a few simple steps, right? So first of all, you got to let your residents know to drip the faucets. Now, when the temperatures drop below freezing, they should drip both the hot and the cold water. Some people just do the cold. This is especially important for faucets that are on exterior walls. And that small, steady drip, it doesn't even have to be a stream, relieves pressure in the pipes, and it really can be the difference between a pipe surviving a cold night and just bursting overnight, which no one wants. Secondly, you gotta let your residents know to open up the cabinet doors under all the sinks, especially any sink located on exterior walls, because that's what gets the brunt of that cold air right behind those walls there. But it allows the warm air to circulate around the pipes underneath the sinks, and that can also keep them from freezing, those pipes from freezing. So it's simple, it's easy, and it really does work. You just have to let them know that. Third thing that we got to let our residents know is do not turn the heat off. I don't care if you're going out of town and you don't want to pay the extra money while you're out of town for your utilities, right? The thermostat has to be set at a minimum of 65 degrees, even if they're not in the property. If they turn that heat off to save a little money while they're gone, it could end up costing thousands of dollars in water damage. So this one's really non-negotiable, but you have to remind and let your residents know that that's the expectation. Fourth, they got to take care of the exterior faucets. First of all, they got to disconnect all the garden hoses that might be connected to the spigots outside. And then it's really helpful to install those insulated faucet covers that you see over every exterior spigot. Those covers, they don't cost a lot. They're easy to install, and they just provide an extra layer of protection, right, against the freezing temperatures. And I'll tell you, this is one of the most simple and effective steps that tenants can take outside the home to protect their rental property from basically having burst pipes from frozen, freezing temperatures. Now, what I would do, I would consider, if I were you as a landlord, to buy them yourselves and just have them shipped via Amazon or whatever directly to the rental property, and then just follow that up with an email or a text letting your tenant know that you're sending them so they can put them on. That way, everybody wins there. Now, next, tenants should really know where the main shutoff water valve is, right? Most don't. And if a pipe bursts, the first thing you want to have happen is to get them to turn off the water to the house as quickly as possible. And if they don't know where it is, they're not going to be able to turn it off quickly. Nothing's worse than to be search around trying to find the main water shutoff valve on a house when water's just pouring through a ceiling somewhere. So, they don't need to be plumbers. They just need to know where that valve is and then know how to operate it. Turn it to the right, horizontal, perpendicular to the pipe, whatever it may be. If it's a dial, turn it to the right until it can't be turned anymore. And that's going to cause the water to cut off in the house, which will save thousands of dollars in water damage if something does happen. And then finally, you really need to ask your residents to report any issues immediately. I mean, if they notice like low pressure, low water pressure, or weird noises coming from the pipes, or any visible leaks, you got to let them know to contact you right away. Because if they wait until like the next day to let you know, that can be the difference between a small issue that could have been prevented pretty quickly by having the water shut off or something like that versus, a major problem. So I just want to tell you this, landlords. Make sure that you send these tips and these requests, to your residents before each freeze. Because it really is one of the easiest ways to protect your property. And, if you're looking for a property management team that will prepare your resident for things like these events, cold weather, hurricanes, whatever, that's exactly what we do. And we'd love to help you out if you'd like to give us a shot. And if you'd like a copy of what we send to every one of our residents before, cold weather is getting ready to happen, I can send you a copy of that email. Just make a comment below here and let me know, and we'll get that sent over to you. So anyway, hey, be sure to follow us for more landlord tips like this, and to make sure to stay warm out there. All right, I'm Mark, and I'm out.